In today's tutorial, you'll be learning how to use chat hooks, and we're going to set up a dance emote system for those to be used. We'll also be covering for loops again, if statements, arrays, binding pressed events, and a bit more. And also, if you weren't aware already, you can also start reading behind the scenes of these videos and things that I got planned in the future over on buymeacoffee.com. I'll put a link in the description below. All right. The first thing we're going to do is open up a new project or an existing project, and then we're going to go to the hierarchy. We're going to create a new folder. We're just going to call this chat emote system. Within the chat emote system, we then want to add a server context. So we'll go right click it, create new context and new server context. And then within this, we want to add a script. So we're going to create a new script. We're just going to call this chat emote system server script. We're then going to drag that script into the server context. And then we're going to double click and open up the script. So what we need this script to do is when the player has entered in the chat box /dance, we want the player's animation stance to become dancing. So to do that, we're going to at least need a function called dance emote. So this function is going to indicate when the player must dance. Then we're going to add a function called chat.receive message hook, and then colon connect. And then in brackets, when this is received, we then want to play the dance emote function. And in here, we'll just put print in brackets and in quotation marks test. Save that, press play, and we're just going to type some mumbo jumbo into the chat box. Escape that. We're just going to go event log, and you can see it's printed it 3 times. So that's the amount of times we've typed it into the chat message. In this case, we don't want anything to happen unless we have specifically written /dance into the chat box. So to do this, we need to have parameters that we can reference to use an if statement. So we're going to have a speaker. In this case, speaker will be the player. And then we need params, which is going to be the string that is received. Part of receiving chat messages from a chat box is they can come in any capital or lowercase mix. So it could be /D ANCE, or it could be just a lowercase d ANCE. But to make it consistent, we need to make sure the messages are always lowercase, so it's easy for us to check. So we're just going to create a new variable called local message, which is going to equal string.lower, which is going to lower every letter within the string to a lowercase. So in this case, we want params.message. And then we want to type if message double equals and in quotation marks /dance, then we can run this code. Then ends. Then let's leave test there, press save, press play, and then we're just going to type mumbo jumbo again, and then also a /dance. So we should have received in the event log only one test, which we did. At this point, we have actually integrated a chat hook function into our game. So congratulations. And if you are liking the video so far, make sure you hit the thumbs up button because it really helps out the channel. Alright, now let's add the dance animation functionality and then we'll tidy up the script a little. A quick way to add an animation would be to type speaker.animation equals stance. So let's just do that. Speaker.animation stance. And we're just going to equals unarmed underscore dance underscore basic. So this will now actually play a dance when the player types dance, so we can test that. So we can test that by pressing play, and then we'll type /dance. And as you can see, the player dances. The problem with this though is it's only one animation. Why not have a system that randomly chooses between 1 or 5, or however animations you're wanting to add to your emote system? let's escape out of this. We're going to go to the top of the script, and at the top here, we're just going to go local dance array. So this is going to hold list of the different animations that we want to use for our game. So in curly brackets, we're just going to add the following, which are all taken from the animation stances on the core documentation. So the first one being the unarmed underscore dance underscore basic that we added before. And then put a comma to go to the next line. And I'm just going to speed through the rest of these so you don't have to sit around while I keep typing. So once I've typed all those in, we need to work out a way that we can randomly select one of these animations. So to do that, we're going to use math.random, but to get to that point, we also need a reference or a variable to hold the amount of dance arrays. So we're going to go local number of dance emotes, and it's going to equal 0 for now. And then under this, we're going to use a for loop to count through all the items within the dance array. So for I, item in I pairs dance array, do the following, which is number of dance emotes equals number of dance emotes plus 1. Then end. So this for loop goes for every item within the dance array, we're going to plus 1 to the number of dance emotes. So in this case, it will add up to 5. Awesome. So now we can go back to the dance emote function. And within the function, we need to select this random number. So to do that, we're going to go within the if statement, local num. So we're going to use a local variable, which is going to hold the math.random range. So we're going to go local num equals math.random. And then 1 being the lowest number, and the highest being the number of dance emotes. So between 1 and 5, select one of these numbers, and that's what we're going to use for the dance array, which we then need to assign. So we're going to go local dance emote to use, for example, is going to equal dance array, and then in square brackets, dance array, and in square brackets, we're going to put num. And then where it says speaker.animation equals stance is going to equal dance emote to use. And we'll save that. Press play. And we're just going to type dance. And again, dance. And again, dance. And again, dance. And as you can see, it's cycled through 3 of the 5 different dances that we've had. So far, it's looking pretty good. However, there are a few things that I personally want to fix to make this chat emote system even better. For example, the player can now run around with the dance emote running. So we want to stop that from happening. And also the chat box will get spammed with /dance if everyone wants to type it at the same time. So first, let's fix the chat box spam, because that's nice and easy to do. So what we're going to do is go to the script. So within the if statement, we're just going to type params dot message equals 2 quotation marks. Don't worry about a space in the middle. So what this does is it will return the message that the player has sent to the server, and if it did meet the requirements of /dance, it's then going to return nothing to the chat box. So press save, press play, and then we'll type dance. And as you can see, nothing has appeared in the chat box. So this will stop players from being able to spam /dance. Obviously they can spam other words, but that's a whole nother thing. And the next thing I want to fix is the fact that the player can move around while the animation is playing. So first, let's create a function that's going to be called cancel emote. So function cancel emote, and then we'll end that. And we want this function to be called when the player, moves or jumps. So within the brackets, we're going to type player binding pressed. We're going to use the binding pressed functionality. And then below this, we want to add the onPlayer joined functionality, which is another function. So we'll have to type onPlayer joined. I'm going to pass through the player. And within this function, we're just going to type player.bindingPressed event connect, and then cancel emote function. And then we also need to make sure when the player is joined, they're told that the player.bindingPressed event can happen with this player. So we'll use game.player joined event connect, and in brackets, a reference to this function. And going back to the cancel emote function, we just got to put a bunch of if statements to check if the binding press equals either W, A, S, or D, or the spacebar on the player's keyboard. So I'll speed through those and then you can pause and copy. Alright, so feel free to pause it and copy. And once you're done, press save. We'll press play. We'll type /dance. And it should stop every time we move in a specific direction. And just before you go, I hope you found this video helpful. And I also want to leave you with a challenge. That challenge is to adapt or mold what you've learned from this video into your games. And if you have done that already or do in the future, comment below with your game's name that would appear on Core, and I'll check it out if I can, or others may check it out for you. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video.